We are live, Miss Dawn Strickland. How are you?
Great. How are
All
you?
right, I am good. So you and I were just chatting. You're in the office, and I'm stuck in some tiny town at a McDonald's Wi-Fi, trying to avoid a hurricane. But here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Here we go.
so
Don't get blown away.
I am excited to sit here and interview you. So once again, this is Faces of First Atlanta, and it's exciting. So tell me, who is Dawn Strickland?
Oh man, who am I? Wow. Well, I am a newbie to real estate. I think I still classify myself as a newbie. I am wrapping up my second year in real estate.
Okay.
Um, Prior to that, let's go back. Let's
Yeah.
go way back.
Where'd you grow up?
Yes.
Give me some history here.
Okay. So born in Atlanta.
Okay.
So very much an ATLian, but I grew up in Alabama. So my dad took a job at Tuskegee University when I was about 8 or 9. So that moved us from Atlanta to Tuskegee. So I grew
And
up in
that's
Alabama.
the airmen, right? The Tuskegee
Tuskegee
Airmen.
Airmen,
Yeah, I
yeah,
got you.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
You
yep.
live there.
And yes.
I
Live
drove
in
through
it.
there once. There wasn't a lot of cell phone service.
No, and I bet there still isn't a lot of service.
So small town, right?
Small
Okay.
town, not too far from Auburn and Montgomery.
Yep.
Neither direction. So we still had some liveliness, but you had to travel for it. But grew up there, lived in Alabama through high school, both Tuskegee and Montgomery. Then I went to the University of Tennessee, go Vols.
Okay. Okay.
And majored in finance. Thought I was going to be an investment banker living in New York City. I don't know what happened.
Hang on. You're going from Tuskegee to investment banker, New
Oh,
York
in New York.
City.
Oh, yeah.
You grew up in Alabama, in between Auburn and University of Alabama, and you go to University of Tennessee.
I
I'm
was
seeing
total
some.
trader. Total
Okay,
trader.
I got you. All
Had
right,
no interest in either school, Auburn or Alabama.
I got you.
I know. I think it's because I'm not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm an Alabamian. Like I'm Bama, but I didn't jump into the culture of like football and all of that growing up there. I don't know how I
Okay.
missed it, but I did. So,
I thought I turned that off. Sorry.
yeah, no problem. So attended UT, Alval, finished school there. I actually graduated right around 9/11. So no one was hiring right around when I graduated. So I opted to go to grad school right then.
Well, and you're not probably moving to New York City after 9/11, right?
No, so New York kind of lost its glowing
Yeah.
somewhere in there. But ultimately decided to go to Clark Atlanta here in Atlanta. So
Okay.
I moved to Atlanta after school. I got my MBA and then started a long corporate career.
Okay.
Both in banking and in entertainment. I would say I worked for Bank of America and Turner Broadcasting, between the two of those, for over 10 years, and then worked for Paramount Pictures, even though they're based in LA. We had an office here in Atlanta that I worked out of for 5 years.
And what were you doing?
Primarily sales through all of it. In banking, it was treasury sales. At Turner, it was network sales, so actually packaging all the Turner networks and selling them to cable providers. And then at Paramount, it was lighting and grip equipment sales. So to film productions here.
Okay. Okay.
So all
So
sales.
was this a chosen career, or how did you get into that?
No, I don't know. I still want to know what I want to be when I grow up. So
Okay. We can talk through that, by the way.
Yeah. It's a thing. No, I think ultimately I wanted to work in an industry that I would find sincere interest in. So that's probably what kind of took me off of banking and over into entertainment. Just to enjoy the product I was selling, ultimately, I think was my goal.
Okay.
I would definitely say, even with 2 finance degrees, finding myself more in sales roles made way more sense. So
Okay.
that was a natural adjustment, like a
And
natural pivot over.
just this short little interview we've done thus far, your personality is probably a little more aligned with sales than
Yeah,
behind the desk finance,
not
I'm
all
thinking.
numbers, not
Yeah.
all numbers. No, 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 no. And
Okay.
I don't
So
mind the numbers, but I need people. I definitely
yeah.
need people.
How did well I always wonder this. Like I don't think I got great counsel growing up and on what to study and who I should be and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you end up going like investment banking? Was that just
Ooh, okay. The movie Wall Street with
okay?
Michael Douglas and Charlie Sheen
Yeah.
had a great impact on my life. Um, I don't know. I think I wanted to make a lot of money, to be
Yeah.
quite honest with
And you figure
you.
if you're working in the money world, you're making a lot of money, right?
Yeah, let me follow the path of that influence from that movie.
Okay. Okay.
And that's where I kind of went with it. I knew what I could make coming out of college. Like I was like, okay,
Okay.
I know the route I can go to get to the end result quickly.
Okay.
Even though I would have spent all of my money in housing in New York. And
So you did a corporate America tour,
I
I would
did.
say.
I did a
Okay.
long tour.
How
I think it
long?
was a
How
pretty
long?
long tour. That was 15 years.
Okay. So what lessons did you learn in your corporate America tour?
Ooh, I would say networking and the quality of your network was critical. So I ultimately got these, different jobs based on people I knew. It wasn't applying online and going through that kind of methodology to get a new job. It was very much who I knew, the depth of our relationships, what they knew about me, how I followed up with people that brought about new opportunities. So networking, I think, was critical during my corporate time. Also, just organization, like structure, which I still love.
Right.
Even being in kind of this entrepreneurial um, career that real estate can be, meaning you can take it either way you want to go.
Right.
I still definitely pull from the structure and the accountability that I got in the corporate world.
So this is interesting. I think corporate America, just by design, because you have a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's an accountability to that. There's a show up to work or you lose your job
Definitely.
aspect to that, right?
Yeah.
And so you create some disciplines around that, and have those disciplines translated to your real estate business?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, when I opted, so I got out of corporate America. Ultimately, my office closed with Paramount, and it coincided with me having my youngest child, who's 3 now. And so I took a year off, severance, office closed, home with the baby, and was about to enter back into an entertainment role. I had a couple of opportunities I was really exploring, but just I felt like it was a good time to try something else. That would, I thought, give me a little bit more flexibility. What we know is that that's not really true in real estate.
Yeah, of course.
That's the,
Not necessarily. We'll teach you that later on in your career, right?
yeah. That's bogus. If anything, it can be even
Okay.
harder. But so I made that decision to then sit for my real estate license, and I got it, and then you know,
And we're two
um,
years in, right?
2 years in
You
now.
got a 3-year-old. You also have another one?
I have a 6-year-old and a 19-year-old who I just took back to Tallahassee
Kick,
for
kicked them
to go.
out, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Florida A&M.
Yeah.
She's back there. She's happy. That COVID stay at home was a long one. That unintentional one.
It's one thing to have school age kids at home and you're like, it's time to go back to school. But then now the 19-year-old, you're like, go.
Go, go.
Yes. All
Time to go.
right. So
Yeah.
2 years in the real estate business.
2 years.
And I've interviewed quite a few people thus far that they've been in the business 35 years. And I want some perspective here because you what I understand you've had a great 2 years, right? So let's dive in. You got your license 2 years ago.
Yeah. So
What'd you do?
here's one of
Yeah.
those things that I was going to touch on from your last question. As soon as I decided on Keller Williams First Atlanta in this particular office, I joined the mentor program
Okay.
that is offered. That I do highly suggest to anyone new getting in the business. It was great to have a sounding board right out the gate because a lot of it is finding leads, and you'll get in and you're like, well, I want to sell a house, but who am I selling the house to, and how do I do it? So a lot of people just spin their wheels, of course, looking for leads, which is totally understandable. But with the mentor program, it gave that structure from corporate that I was looking for. I was accountable to my mentor, who is Denise Mello Boyd, who is just phenomenal and just buttoned up on top of it, deal points, negotiating tips. I mean, she took my calls in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely got paired with a rock star. But that's what did it. That's what helped the transition. Ultimately, I think it made it a smooth one because I had someone I was accountable to. She told me what to read. She taught me to send out a formal announcement to all of my contacts. Because also, when people make this pivot in their career, sometimes the people around you don't know how serious you are about real estate, because it can kind of be that thing that some people just want to have it. Like, I just want to have my license for if I do X, Y, and Z. And her thought was, no, you got to come out of this strong and let people know that, you mean business by making this switch in your career. So I sent out a formal letter both a letter and a text message, quite honestly. I definitely float on the millennial
Yeah.
Gen X, am I? I don't know. I'm in my early 40s. Anyway, but I definitely use social media, texting as a means of very regular communication. So did a bit of both of that. And I think it really helped give me footing with everyone I personally knew and knew from past work experiences that I was in this and I was seriously in it.
I love it. So a couple of things I want to bring to the conversation is from corporate America, you understand the value of the networking and the relationships and that whole piece.
Mm-hmm.
And you thrive in an accountable, structured environment, right? So here you go getting into real estate.
Yeah.
And you immediately dive into the network, the relationship piece, and you're sending emails and text and phone calls, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And then you engage in the mentor program, which is giving you the accountability and the structure. Mm-hmm. And as long as you've got those three things, you're going to thrive no matter what, right?
Yep. I think it was the right formula. And honestly, a lot of offices that I interviewed with didn't seem to really have the structure, which is what I appreciated most with Keller Williams. And honestly, it was a couple of my classmates from real estate school who told me I was joining this office.
They said, you don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. We are joining this particular office.
Sign. Okay, so what happened your first year?
So my first year, I will tell you, it got off to a very slow start. And I had some genuine concern, especially because I had some other opportunities that were still lingering out there from, my previous job. So I knew some folks who wanted me to potentially take on some sales director roles in some other places.
A little carrot, right?
Yeah, I started going, ooh, a salary would really be nice. But I really wanted to commit a full year to it. And quite honestly, the first 5-6 months, nothing, no closings, no nothing. And it wasn't, well, I also joined, I came on board in late October. So I had kind of that holiday period and just that kind of lull. And then the spring hit. And honestly, it felt like everyone I knew was ready to sell and buy. Everyone was looking for that. They were in that transition. So I had several clients that were those double transactions. And ultimately, I think I had maybe 12 closings by the time my year wrapped up,
Okay.
close to 5 million
So
in
you did 12 closes and 5 million in 6 months, basically.
I would love
Yeah.
to keep that up. That'd be
Yep. We're gonna average it out over 12, but you basically did it in six
yeah.
months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was seriously, it was about 6 months. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You finished your
And of
first
course,
year.
I had Denise holding my hand through those first couple of transactions, which again, just the lessons there. One, she definitely pushed that I shouldn't get a closing coordinator right away so that I learned the full process and could do it all myself, which I ended up doing for all of those transactions, which was kind of crazy when I look
Yeah.
back. But yeah, just a lot of good lessons real
Okay.
quick. I got thrown into the fire. I mean, I had some bad deals. I had some houses I had to talk clients out of that they thought they loved, but they just weren't, they weren't good, solid investments. So I just honed some skills really, really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you jump into your second year.
Mhm.
How's the second year gone?
The second year, I'm definitely more comfortable. I will say that.
Okay.
There are things that I just look for now up front, which of course just comes with experience. But it's been a bit of a more comfortable ride. I would say at times probably too comfortable because I had so much traction for a while that there was always something kind of coming up that honestly, if you don't keep your eye at least 3 to 6 months ahead of yourself, you'll find yourself in these really kind of slow periods.
We call that the roller coaster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you lead generate, you get busy, and then you stop lead generating because you're so busy, and you go
And
down,
then
and
you
you're
go,
like,
oh, I don't have any
yes,
closings. There's nothing. Everybody's
yes.
fine. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you're learning through the ups and the downs, right? Did you outperform your first year, your second year?
I don't think I am actually. Now
Okay.
I'm gonna blame COVID. I know we can
Okay.
put everything on the 2020 juju of the
Yeah.
life, but I'm fairly close. Honest, I mean, I've got a couple of months,
Okay.
so I'm on track to do about that. But I'm definitely not seeing the like
Okay.
snowball of it. But it's
Well,
still been a it's
can
been a
we
good
draw a
year.
line in the sand and say you're going to do it?
Yeah, we can.
We can get Denise on here if we need to.
I'm counting. I'm counting right
I'm
now.
calling Denise this afternoon, just so you know.
No, don't put it. Don't
Yeah.
put it back on me. No.
I mean, it would be a shame for your second year not to finish better than your first year.
I agree. I agree.
And
It
you
is
could
the year
do
of
it.
COVID. It is the COVID year.
No, that's an excuse.
No, it is. I know it is. I know it is. And
I'm
actually,
calling Denise.
honestly,
All
in the
right.
midst of COVID, I I mean, I think a lot of people would co-sign it, but it has picked up. It took a moment, there was definitely that March, April, you know,
Yep.
lull, but it has picked up. So I've had the interesting thing is, something else I didn't mention is I don't know if it's because I was working in entertainment or what, but my clientele, they were buying at a really nice price point. And with the change in jumbo loans and the amount that people have to put down, I found that even when I have eager clients who want to buy, around 750 to a million, let's say in Atlanta, now they're being required to either put down the full 20%, which they didn't always see coming. There's something happening kind of on the lending side too that has kind of made this a bit of a different year. Where the year before, when people were in that price point, we could find ways. We could find ways to get you in the house you wanted.
Yep.
So it's a bit stricter, of course, with everything.
Gotcha. So where's Dawn going in her real estate business?
Oh, where am I going?
Who you looking up after? Where you wanting to go?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Honestly, I would love to be a luxury agent in Atlanta. Um, there definitely are, I would say, Black agents that do well in that sphere. But I would love to be visible in it.
Okay.
Be kind of a thought of person to come to if you're coming to Atlanta. So that, of course, involves more social media presence, but also really referrals more than
Yeah.
anything.
And
Which
now we're going back to your network, right?
there you go.
There you
So
go.
it's being top of mind for that type of clientele, so that they push me along.
Yes.
Um, and
And around
I
the country, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I definitely know a lot of folks that are ultimately moving to Atlanta. Funny enough, with COVID and everything, people are now so virtual, and their companies are becoming committed to the virtual element of doing business, that people are moving and keeping their jobs that are based in LA or New York, and actually are able to move to a city like Atlanta where the cost of living, makes more sense for their families. So I'm definitely seeing some shift in that as well, where people aren't even changing jobs. They're just changing cities.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So luxury is a focus of yours, right?
I enjoy luxury. Not just, I mean, for the obvious reasons.
Of course. But
But I
we
do
talked
enjoy it.
I talked Friday to Kira about luxury, and we were talking about how luxury is it's certainly a strategy, right?
Yeah.
It's a strategy to build in a real estate business, and obviously that's what I'm hearing you say as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not just, I want to sell $1 million homes. Like, how will you do that? How do you cultivate the clientele that will trust you to do that for them?
Yeah,
You know, and just being that person that's thought of, and
yeah.
yeah, and trusted.
So talk to me about your mindset when we're talking about the roller coaster, right?
Mhm.
So you feel your business going down into the valley of the roller coaster. How
Yeah.
do you self-talk? How do you motivate yourself to do the things you don't want to do? How do you
Uh,
get the ship back on course, right?
yeah, yeah. I am very much a do the hardest thing, or do the thing you want to put off the most. Do that first every day.
Okay.
So I think I make the tougher phone calls, or maybe the follow up that I know is going to take more of a deeper dive conversation. I'll do those things first. So when I feel myself falling up, I mean, I keep a pretty structured to do list anyway, but I call the people that I know are ready, but maybe kind of hanging back for their own reasons. Because also, clients, when they're ready, they're going to contact you too. They're going to stay
Yeah,
on
of
you,
course.
send you houses. But when I feel that silence kind of happen from someone I know is serious, then my salesy nature comes back out, and it's like, no, no, no,
Let's
no,
talk. Yeah.
yeah, let's talk. I know what you want to do.
Got it.
So I think the focus becomes, I have Siri over here trying to talk to me. Um, the focus really becomes not only getting myself back on track, but getting clients back on track.
Okay.
So I kind of take that focus. So where are my tiers of people? And it means that I need to get back on with
Yeah.
them.
Can I
Um,
give you some lingo? So you're talking about tiers of people. We I call that the pipeline, right?
yes.
So you consistently keep up with, you're calling it tiers, I'm calling it pipeline, but
Hmm.
you have your working client list that you've built out, and some of them may be ice cold, some of them may be lukewarm, and some of them are hot, right?
Right.
But what I'm hearing you say is, because you're organized that way, because you're structured that way, when you feel your business start to go down, you've got the list already put together to go after.
Yeah. Yeah. And I usually too always I'll put it in my calendar, but I know people's timelines as well. Because, of course, the conversations can start now, and people are talking about moving to Atlanta at the top of the year. But it means I still need to be following up. I need to make sure that they're on my, list within FMLS, and they're getting hits of homes they might be interested in. I'll send them little special listings I see, and just, keep them excited about the process.
Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how tech savvy is Dawn?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, from my reaction you just got,
At least a 5.
the
All right. So how
five.
you dealing with technology and real estate?
I am doing okay. I am about a smooth 7.
Okay. Are you working on it?
I am. Okay, so I will be honest with you, like the dot loop, the DocuSign transition.
Okay. It knocked you down a point or two, right?
It did. I ended up paying for a dot loop
Yeah.
subscription so I could continue to manage that. But I'm watching the trainings and I'm ready to kind of transition
But
over.
here's what I know. If you're a networker, you're a relationship person,
Hmm.
and somebody that's doing the text messaging and the emails and the phone calls and all that, there's got to be some kind of technology in between you and that network that's keeping up with it all, right?
Yes.
Are you using command and that kind of stuff?
I am definitely using command to track opportunity. When I learn that someone wants to buy, I'm plugging them in. I'm making sure that I continue to keep them top of mind, so they become kind of that top
Yeah.
tier of the pipeline that you speak of. I could be doing so much more though. I mean, I'll be honest. I've seen the trainings. I know what it can
These,
do. Yeah, yeah. So I can be. I'm a little,
all right,
I'm
all
a
right.
slower adapter. I know that's not necessarily the answer.
Listen, these are live interviews, and I don't even know the questions sometimes. So I appreciate
I'm
your
coming
honesty.
along.
Because
I'm
here's the
coming
truth.
along.
You're succeeding. I wanted to interview you because I know you're 2 years in, but
Mm.
you're having some great success, and
Yeah.
I see why. Right? I think we talked about earlier. You're a natural networker. You
Mhm.
understand the value of relationships and database and networking.
Yeah.
You've got a natural structure to your personality. You're willing to be held accountable, right?
Absolutely.
And you work it. You're serious about it, right? And you're having success that way. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So that doesn't mean you're not real, as we're all real, and you have your ups and your downs, and how do we power through it and all that stuff, right?
So true. Yeah. Yeah.
So I appreciate your transparency and your vulnerability, and I promise you, it'll inspire some people.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I definitely think anyone can do it. And you'd be surprised. I think it's coming out strong to the people you know. I think it's just a great first step. Now, of course, you can get leads a number of other ways. I've kind of stayed in more of a referral space with it. Um, but if you're hell bent on being successful in this, you'll find it.
you'll
You'll
find it.
find it. And don't feel like you're annoying people. Believe me, they'll let you know when you're annoying them.
I love that.
So what's the worst that can happen? They don't pick up your call, they don't return your text. Ooh, you know. It's okay. It's
All
okay.
right.
Yeah.
So if I drive through, back when I get on a plane again, I'm going through the airport
Yes.
and I see a book on the shelf and it says, "This is Don Strickland's book." What's the title of it?
Okay. Don Strickland's book. One, I think I would have a book. Okay, well, on a more personal aside, I would probably have
Yeah.
a book that helps teenagers get through coping with losing a parent. So I
Okay.
think that that's something that's just kind of near and dear to my heart, and I wish I had, you know, just some
Sure.
kind of reference. I lost my mom when I was 15 and
Oh wow.
got
That was
through
part
that.
of the beginning of the story, not the
No, that
end
was
of
right.
the
That was
story.
back there. Yeah, I
Okay.
know.
All right.
No, I don't know how that didn't make it in the abbreviated
Okay.
version.
So that's part of a defining characteristic of you powering through, right?
For sure. And being optimistic and being resilient, but also just giving young people kind of some tools to help through that tough road. Um,
That's a feel good.
yeah. And it's not even, yeah, to wallow in it. It's how do you find the good in that? But on another front, I think I would have like an alternative endings book. So I'm all about don't let a movie like give you an alternative ending on like the DVD or something. So I'm
Right.
all about seeing how things play out if you make a different choice. So I think I would write a book about just different, like if you change one little element of a decision you made, how it could take you in a different way. But
Okay.
more fiction, not
I
not
gotcha.
yeah,
Not real life.
not real life, fun alternative endings to the same
So
similar.
your alternative ending is you chose to get into real estate.
That's the one. That's the one right now.
Showed up here.
Yes, yes.
Excuse me. Congratulations, Don. Thank you so much for your time and being vulnerable and transparent and letting us share just a moment of our day with you.
Absolutely. Thank
Have
you.
a good one.
You too.